This week is to the home of Donna Fitzgerald of Dog Aid, and Donna lives over in Ballymun. Now, she is without doubt a most keen animal lover. She's surrounded by dogs for a start, and when I went to visit her, there was a pit bull terrier gnawing away at a bone. Now, he provides all the sound effects you want in this piece. He is without doubt quite ferocious looking, and I was indeed glad that the bone he was gnawing on was not mine. I wondered how Donna, first of all, came to like animals, and how did she end up with a house full of them? Where did it all start?
Well, if you look behind you, there's a photograph there. Ironically, this is actually a Staffordshire Bull Terrier that was kept. The man had him for 4 years. He was a drug addict. Now, originally this dog was looked after. But for some reason, during the last 6 months that the man had him, and as I say, he had him since a pup till he was 4-year-old, something happened, something triggered the man off. He just refused to feed the dog and was convinced that this dog had a sickness, that he had vomiting and diarrhoea, etc. So we kept saying, bring the dog over to us, we'll have a look. Now, I knew this dog, and I says, well, there has to be something wrong with him because he always looked after him. So we brought him down to the DSPCA clinic. I mean, neither myself nor the vet were actually prepared for what we saw. The dog was grossly underweight with a subnormal temperature. In other words, he was actually dying. And this chap still insisted that the dog was suffering from vomiting and diarrhoea. At the end of the clinic, anyway, after a fight with the vet, she wanted to take the dog, I wanted to take the dog, I won. And I got bringing the dog up to my home. And but at the end of the evening surgery, with a cup of tea and a biscuit, and the dog actually practically attacked me for the packet of biscuits. So, obviously this wasn't a dog with vomiting and diarrhea.
Yeah, we should explain that the noise that we're hearing now is
the dog chomping.
He's chomping away on that knuckle
this,
there.
No, it's keeping him off your legs. So 6 days later,
was it mean at that point that you know that this dog is simply has been starved?
This dog has just been starved. Yeah. Now he also had a load of sores.
Right.
What we would call kennel sores.
Yeah.
He'd been confined in a box.
Right.
Sorry. He'd been confined in a box with no room to manoeuvre. He was lying in his own excrement.
Right.
I mean, he just stank the place out.
Yeah.
But anyway, he came on. We put him on to...
was there any action taken against that person? After all, he was responsible for the dog.
No, ironically not. But we did warn him, if we ever saw him with another dog, we'd see that he would be prosecuted. But the man is actually... he does look after the dogs for X amount of time. And we have recently seen him with a small, very, very small Staffordshire Bull Terrier, one that's actually fully grown. And a couple of times we're going to, get the dog taken off him, but we've kept our eye on the dog, and this is about a year ago when he got this other dog. And ironically, this little one is in great condition. But we are observing him closely. He does live close by. And at the first sign of weight loss, we'll be down him like a ton of bricks.
Right.
And he knows it, you know.
That while that dog might have had sores and one thing and weight loss, was there any animals that you came across that have been savagely mistreated?
Oh yes, last Christmas, myself and my friend were walking up the road here, and we found what we thought was a puppy, like a long-legged Jack Russell Terrier type, but he was black and tan. And after cutting him, he was dreadfully thin, and we managed to catch him anyway. And when we did get him, he had half his ear was cut off. His neck was very badly infected, with pus. It was about 2 inches around his neck, all the way around. It was very badly infected. He had lice. He actually had mange as well. And he came down with parvovirus. And he was actually incubating the disease. And once he got onto good food, the disease began to manifest itself and show. On Christmas Eve, we brought him to the vet. He took very, very bad. We brought him to a local vet now. Oh, sorry, I tell you a lie. We rang a local vet who came out, and about 12:30, early hours Christmas morning, he says there's not much hope for this dog at all. He's on the way out. So we gave him a chance anyway. The dog was brought back to the vet's surgery. He was given fluid therapy and everything that you do for parvovirus, and survived.
A success story.
A success story. But of course there's many that aren't.
Yeah. And of course an incident like that wouldn't make you feel that what you do is worthwhile.
Well, when there's a success story like that, yes, it does make you feel make it worthwhile. But when you get, for example, again last summer, we picked up, the DSPCA rang and asked us would we check a call, which we did.
How closely linked are you to them? I mean, do they?
Well, if there's a suspected cruelty case or a dog being specifically abandoned, they would ask us to check on occasion.
Yeah. So in other words, Dog Aid has some status.
Yeah, in the area where I live, yes.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they would call on us. The dog wardens are extremely good, although we don't send dogs into the home.
Yeah.
It's very, very a particularly vicious dog. We would.
Right.
We wouldn't deal with that dog at all. But we wouldn't have our vet put the dog to sleep. I mean, that is illegal. I mean, we don't take dogs off the street and have them put to sleep.
Right.
Vicious or not, it is the duty of the dog warden to come out and collect that dog and bring him into the dog's home and let them decide the fate of the dog. But
you were contacted by them?
We were contacted by them. We went and checked. The mother was a German Shepherd, and our pup was lying in a basket. The pup looked, could be, well, I thought it was about 7 or 8 weeks. She was actually about 4 months old. She was the size of a miniature greyhound. Grossly neglected, only a skeleton, and she was walking in fleas. Oh, it was terrible. But I couldn't accommodate the mother, and unfortunately she had to go to the home. But we took in the pup. 6 days later she died from distemper. Right. Now, I have photographs to vouch for this little puppy, and I mean it was particularly sad because she was one that really deserved to live after all she'd been through. Now,
the consequences for the owner in that case?
We didn't find out who the owner was.
Yeah.
This is my
This is a call now for a collection.
Yes.
So
let's just have a look at the pit bull.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just trying to find out that. I mean, have you been successful at any stage in bringing a prosecution against
we have.
dog owners?
We have. A lady very well known to us again in the area had this Doberman. Actually, what happened was she was going down the road one day and she found this dog that had been hit by a car. She brought the dog to a vet, never paid the bill. There was extensive work done on the dog's leg. He had an intramedullary steel pin inserted in the leg, in the femur, and which had to be removed at a later stage. The lady eventually left her accommodation and left the dog outside with no food and water. The pin, which should have been removed from the leg, was protruding at least 2 inches from the bone through the skin, and as the dog moved its leg, the pin would go out and in accordingly, whichever way the dog moved. We got a call. A young caring lad around the area kicked the door in and then came running over for us. So we got the dog in. He was a Doberman male, and brought him into the Garda station, which was close by, and a very good guard there that's got a particular interest in animals, David Kelly, took on the case. But we already knew who the woman was, so it was up to them to find her. And they find her, they did, and she was fined £30 and banned for 2 years for keeping a dog.
on the other side of neglect, then opposite that, you have intent to injure a dog. So, what have you ever thought about the reasons why people actually purposely go out to injure or be cruel to an animal?
Do you mean their own dog?
Their own or any animal?
Other.
Are they venting some anger? Or have you ever thought about that? The reasons.
If it's their own dog, it depends on
the dog's behaviour, probably.
On the behaviour. I mean, I've often come in and I don't know how to stop myself from killing the dog because it's maybe chewed up a favourite chair, a favourite whatever. I mean, I used to have a £1,000 suite. I'm down to 2 chairs and a couch now.
Well, we better leave Donna Fitzgerald before we lose any more furniture. Donna has since moved to her native Scotland, and Maggie St. John Howard is in her place.